Good afternoon and welcome back to the Fitzpatrick Formula. My name is Russ Fitzpatrick, and it's my pleasure to kind of go over some very specific lessons that we've learned from top producers across the country, especially as we're kind of in a difficult market to get listings right now. I think that you guys are facing the longest, most extended sellers market that we've seen. Listings are few and far between, and the number of buyers that have a ferocious appetite for buying those listings are incredible right now. Seeing these escalation clauses and 50, 75, $100,000 over asking price. This is I don't even think it's second to. I think it's a stronger, more sustained sellers market than what we saw in 2004, 5, and 6. I hope that the crash or the bust or the end of it will not be as severe as it was in 2007, 8, and 9, going into 2010. But if I had advice for a young real estate agent, if I had advice for an emerging real estate professional in 2021, or if you were asking me advice as an experienced, seasoned professional, should I go spend $2,000 a month on Zillow leads? Should I go spend $1,000 a month on Facebook leads? Or should I go after listings? Well, picture this. Picture every sheep in the herd is heading in one direction. Okay? They're all heading towards buyer leads because that's what they are taught is the path of least resistance. So it doesn't matter if you're a major fintech company or if you're an established realtor or if you're a broker owner looking to serve your realtors. Most of us believe, especially those with a high level of production, that the effort that goes into bringing listings on board is the highest return on invested time. And in fact, that given a choice between converting buyer leads, as most realtors are attracted to, or converting listings into signed listing agreements with a sign in the ground, which one is harder? Well, I'm sorry to say, in 2021, in a very strong seller's market, it's very hard to take listings. But those listings are more valuable right now. So I want you to, picture this. Listings are either hard to get and easy to sell, or they're easy to get and hard to sell. So remember when there was a short sale pandemic and listings were easy to get, but you couldn't sell them because you couldn't get through all the muck to get them closed? Well, I'd like to point to this source of business chart as one final way for me to implore you and embrace the opportunity to take more listings. And if you look at the center of this source of business chart, you see your sphere of influence database mining. And I believe we expressed to you through the secret weapon, through several of the sphere of influence training modules, that sphere of influence is priority number one for a residential real estate agent. Priority number two is a geographic farm area, dead center of your screen. You've got to have a subdivision that you have a pride in ownership of. You'll never know the joy of taking listings that are call list me type listings where you have enough credibility in a subdivision that when a seller calls you, their first question isn't how much is your commission? Their first question is when can you come over because we want to sell our house. So if you think of your sphere of influence and you think of your geographic farm area as your commitment to yourself, then absentee owners becomes gravy. It's just gravy. And I look at 4 listings a year as the minimum production benchmark. And the reason that I say 4 listings a year is because I don't ever want to burn out on one source of business. So we're going to show you what we mean by managing your source of business chart in a way that holds you accountable, but also is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And if you could ever define success, you could ever define your personal relationship to satisfaction, right? Are you satisfied with your real estate career? I would point to the progressive realization of a worthy ideal as the nutrients for satisfaction. You work this source of business chart as a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So start on the left side of your screen with me. Seasoned lead text automation. We're going to spend some time on that during week 6. Week 5, absentee owner campaign. It's what we're going to cover today. A geographic farm area, which we covered at length in week 3. Sphere of influence database mining, which we covered in great detail during week 2. And then a few miscellaneous buyer side transactions that typically will come from those signs. Well, guys, if you did 4 transactions from absentee owners, that's $32,000 gross commission, right? You did geographic farm area, ended up with 4 closings. And I've given you this kind of like simple version to show you if your average commission in a marketplace is $8,000 per file, you know, you're still dealing under the $300,000 price point. So uh, you're in middle America in most cities across the country, and under 300,000 nets you about an $8,000 real estate commission per file. So if you did 4 deals a year from your seasoned leads, you did 4 deals a year from your absentee owners, 4 from your geographic farm, and then 4 from your sphere of influence campaign. I mean, you're talking about over 120,000. I think the number is $128,000 a year just from those 4 sources of business that we're addressing here in the Fitzpatrick formula. And then lo and behold, even a blind squirrel bumps into an acorn now and again. So you find some miscellaneous buyer side transactions that come out of your sphere of influence, or from the sign calls on your geographic farm area, or from the sign calls on your absentee owners. So I think that we've proven this without any reservation that it's effective to manage it. And I just want to encourage you to stay the course. I think that's the main issue with a lot of realtors. They start a lot of things, but they don't complete everything they start. So I just posted for you in the private group on Facebook a white paper document that's going to be the granular detail of this program for you. There is enough granular detail that you don't have to worry. You don't have to take any notes. You don't have to focus on anything except for the blue stuff at the bottom. How much money would 4 listings make you in gross commission income? And I think we just talked about if you're under 300,000, maybe an $8,000 file per listing, you're talking about $32,000 net, gross commission income. How many buyers would you meet off of the 4 listing signs, the open houses, and the digital marketing that go with those 4 listings? And how much money would you make off of the buyers? Now, another angle that a lot of real estate agents forget about is that of those 4 sellers, 1 or 2 of them may buy from you, right? They may buy another home from you. Maybe they're relocating out of a golf course community and they want to move to somewhere with a little more land, or maybe they want to move from a house to a condo. What I think the focus of your commitment has to be is, I'm going to list 4 absentee owners this year if it'll kill me, even if it'll kill me, right? And I'm going to follow the Fitzpatrick formula, which is very well spelled out here as a gift from Annie Mac Works, and to focus on this formula. So go back to Facebook Live, the Fitzpatrick formula group, and download this document. It's a push button and it downloads to your computer. And I'm very, very proud of the work that we've done to put all this together for you. But let me go ahead and take you on a journey through a couple places, and hopefully we'll make some progress with you on this topic. In the Fitzpatrick formula right now, in the private group, here is the original source of business chart that was just posted. And again, it's just a push button and it loads right to your computer. And this one here, this is what I want to show you. This was posted about 30 minutes ago. Dropbox absentee owner formula. Here's the white paper document that we created to help you with your week 5 topic. That's today's topic. And this is a seller's market. This is the hottest seller's market that there's been. So try to wrap your brain around the idea that you've been a landlord for 20 years and you own this home, or you're an Airbnb owner and you own this home. Your parent you're a parent of a kid in a college town and you own that home, or you're a kid and you own your parents' home because they're elderly. These duplex owners, triplex owners, quadplex owners, they have experienced um, a decade and a half of meteoric appreciation. So therefore, they can now capitalize on that. Hey, mom and dad, we're going to move into a condo. We're going to get you out of this big $800,000 house. Can you believe your house is worth $800,000? You've been living in it for 30 years. You bought it for 160. Now it's worth $800,000. Oh my goodness. Let's capitalize on that $800,000 and move you into a little condo. Let's go ahead and rent next year at Florida State University rather than own this home. Let's capitalize on the timing of this and sell this home now at potentially the highest possible price. That's what absentee owner marketing is about. And I took the liberty to go ahead and show you that if you go into AndyMac Works and you go to the on-demand library, you go to class materials, you can download these class materials right here on AndyMac Works, and you can go to the on-demand library, which I just want to show you really briefly. And there is a deeper dive into listing acquisition. Okay, go to andymacworks.com and you're going to see my screen will start to load up here in a minute with all these videos, right? Look at the second video. Obviously, it's very important to me in my personal and business life, having helped hundreds of realtors across the country. You know, one of my buddies in Boca Raton, Florida, he's a big shot, doesn't think he can learn anything else. Then he did absentee owners and he got like a $600,000 listing in the first 3 weeks that he did it. So absentee owner system works today in 2021. And if you go to the on-demand library to the listing section, it's the second video there. It'll ramp right up on your screen. Now, absentee owners, you can go to a company like CoreLogics. You can go to a company like ListSource and buy a list. Target property owners who do not reside at the property they own. This is a very well-known niche, okay? Riches are in the niches, right? Real estate professional. List of absentee owners is ideal for real estate professionals as it may consist of motivated sellers, especially those who own single-family homes. These owners may be tired of managing a property that they do not occupy. Additionally, absentee owners may be investors in the market to increase their inventory of homes. I've told this story several times where I've listed one home for an absentee owner and then they list multiple homes with me. I would tell you that the main reason I started doing absentee owners 25 years ago was because bulk mail never makes it to the absentee owner. So all those farming postcards, all those realtors, even expired letters and stuff like that, they typically send them to the home rather than the homeowner. So sending information to the homeowner that doesn't live in that home is what we're talking about today. Targeting property owners who do not reside in the property they own. This is not a gimmick. This is a very, very well-established system. So much so that there's a great big company called Exact Data, right? You can go in and enter this in and put absentee owners there, right there, absentee owners, and they'll give you a price. Maybe you want to buy 1,000 absentee owners, maybe you want to buy 10,000 absentee owners, but it's very, very cheap. Let's say you don't want to spend the money on a list. Most of your MLSs have a parentheses 33301. And you put that in parentheses and it'll give you everybody who doesn't own, everybody that owns a home in 33301 but doesn't live in that home, meaning that the tax bill is sent to a different address. I can't help you with your local Board of Realty's tax roll because we have too many independent boards of realty with too many ways to do it. But if you, like for me, I put in, how do I find absentee owners in the Southeast Florida MLS? And what you'll find is it's either the board will teach you or a bunch of realtors will teach you. So look at propertyradar.com. He's teaching me how to do it. YouTube.com. Five ways to find absentee owners and build a list. Absentee owner list, free and paid building techniques, which is what we're giving you right now. What I'm telling you is you could buy a list of absentee owners from CoreLogics by just going to listsource.com or put in absentee owner list, and you'll get a number of these vendors that sell these lists. You can go to Exact Data and buy the list. Or if you're smart, and I recommend that you do, take the time to get on the horn with your board of realty, talk to them about the tax roll system, and ask them how to download a list of absentee owners that come from your local MLS. And in my MLS, the way to do it is to put parentheses around the zip code, and that gives me the people who don't live in those houses. So one more time, I'm just going to fill you in. An absentee owner is an owner of a property who does not occupy the subject property. The subject property is no longer the absentee owner's current home. They don't live in it. Often, absentee owners live out of the area and utilize the subject property either as a rental or, like I mentioned before, their parents' home. Maybe it's their daughter lives in it, as mine did in New Orleans, where we were absentee owners in New Orleans. And I owned a vacation home in the mountains for many years. So, we had an absentee owner status in North Carolina and in New Orleans. The simple fact is, many realtors fail to market to absentee owners, and it's really important in the Fitzpatrick formula to figure out a way that you can build your absentee owner marketing list. And just so you know, this is not new, guys. This is not a secret. I've been doing this for 25 years, typically listed between 6 and 10, usually as many, maybe a few years, as many as 12 or 15 listings a year for my absentee owner program. So Tom Ferry talks about it. Floyd Wickman has talked about it on many occasions. And a lot of the newer up and coming real estate trainers focus on absentee owner training. Just simply go into Google and dig through and do that. What I want to do to wrap up this particular session here on the absentee owner situation is point you to our group here in our group called the Fitzpatrick Formula. Let's see here. There we go. I've went ahead and posted for you the week 5 video, which is what you're watching now, and the source of business chart that we've focused on for the entirety of the Fitzpatrick formula. And last but not least, this white label document here, this white paper document that has all the granular detail about how to do this for you. So I'm not going to go through every little nuance, but it's as simple as this, guys. And if this doesn't, make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, I don't know that you've been a listing agent that often, but I promise you, this little note right here, I was outside your Pompano Park home yesterday. Do you have any interest in selling? Your house might be worth more than you think. That's it. That's all I write. I don't write, Dear Mrs. Smith. I don't write from Russ Fitzpatrick. A lot of folks do. They feel like it's impolite, but I like this. I put a business card right in it. They know what I'm talking about. I was outside your Pompano Park home yesterday. Let's use the subdivision name here in the note, right? I was outside of your Shadowwood home yesterday. I was outside of your Hawks Landing home. I was outside of your West Glen home yesterday. Do you have an interest in selling it? Your house may be worth more than you think. My recommendation is you send about 1,000 mailers in the course of a year. I do 20 mailers a week rather than sending 1,000 at one time. And the reason I do that is the repetitious involvement of being involved in it every week, 20 per week for 50 weeks, is much more efficient for my career path. I mean, I don't mind setting aside 90 minutes once a week to do 20 absentee owner notes. And the difference for me, the difference between top producers and average producers is consistency. A top producer is someone who's going to do the same thing to produce a predictable result over and over and over. And before I wrap this session up, I want to go here to AnnieMacWorks.com for you. AnnieMacWorks.com. This is our site, guys. AnnieMacWorks.com is our site. You can access everything on it completely free. Upcoming classes, quarterly curriculum, our on-demand library. I want to go to our on-demand library for just a moment and remind you that there is a listing section here. And the second video that we present to you guys is absentee owner systems. So if you'd like the granular detail of how to get the absentee owners to list with you, getting into the objection handling techniques, getting into the scripts and dialogue, there's a much greater level of detail in here called absentee owner systems. And last but not least, I'll go back to the class materials and I go right here to absentee owners, and you'll see that white paper report is there. I've already downloaded it 3 times to give you an example. But this is not our first rodeo. We've got 500 or 600 realtors across the country that have taken listings from absentee owners. Take a few minutes, digest some of the other training modules that are available when you search about absentee owners. Look into it for a few minutes. See if you either prefer to buy a list or to download your own list from your local MLS. And just make a decision, guys. If you could just make a decision, does this make sense? Does it make sense for you to spend 90 minutes once a week to sell an extra 4 listings a year? I think it does. So I'm recommending, as part of your Fitzpatrick Formula source of business chart, that you start to fill in your 4 sellers listings that came from absentee owner campaigns. Each one of these sources might not get you excited on an individual basis, but I promise you, collectively, the collective work of all 4 of these sources of business on the left side of your screen, mixed with the miscellaneous buyer side transactions that are going to come your way in the next 12 months, will build you a business plan that you could be a high 6-figure earner. I believe that. Week 5, Fitzpatrick Formula is all about the absentee owner. We've given you a number of different places to get more depth into it. Now it's up to you to commit. Are you able to send 20 notes a week for 50 weeks a year? That will make you wealthy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I promise you that. Thanks again for being on Fitzpatrick Formula Week 5.